What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Before I get into the subject matter at hand, as always, I want to remind you guys that if you want to donate to the channel, if you want to show love to Too Raw for TV, there's a link in the description box where you'll be able to do that. I'm also going to put a link in the description box to an article I'm reading from, which is from Yahoo Sports, talking about the intent of the Houston Rockets to trade anyone, including James Harden, although that's an unlikely scenario. But they're willing to trade anyone on this roster in order to improve this team's chances of winning a championship. I'm going to read from the article now. The article is from Cassandra Negley. All right, the Houston Rockets have found a way to break the final barriers this summer after another postseason ouster and yet another ending by the Golden State Warriors. Rockets general manager Daryl Morey is ready to do whatever it takes to win it all, and that includes, per ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, dealing any player on his roster if he wants, even James Harden and Chris Paul. And per Adrian Wojnarowski on Twitter, sources, in calls to front offices, Houston general manager Daryl Morey is showing an aggressive desire to improve roster with all players and picks available in talks. Hard to imagine James Harden's scenario, but the rest under contract, perhaps even Chris Paul, could be moved in right deal. The report from Wojnarowski follows one by The Athletic that the two superstars had a, quote, verbal back and forth, unquote, that leaked into the locker room during the Game 6 loss to the Warriors in the Western Conference semifinals. The alleged dispute was reported over differing offensive styles, as Paul reportedly pushed head coach Mike D'Antoni for more ball movement, while Harden does best in isolation. The Rockets have already cleaned house, firing much of the coaching staff over the past several weeks. Uh, Goes on to say that it's unlikely the Rockets will deal Harden, even though there's no explicit everyone but Harden, per Wojnarowski. Harden is the linchpin the team built around, including signing Paul in 2017 to a 4-year max contract. To a majority of people's chagrin, think he wasn't worth it. Uh, I hate to say anybody's not worth a contract, but I'm pretty sure the Rockets kind of regret it now. Just reading. The Rockets signed Harden to a contract in 2012, and he signed a $228 million extension last year that runs through the 22-23 season. The Rockets are living on a budget. The one downside to having a solid starting five, it's watching improve. Nearly everyone is on the trading block if the deal is good enough. The projected salary cap for the 2019-20 season is reportedly around $109 million, an increase of around $7 million. The luxury rate is reportedly at $132 million. Houston has $120,534,726 locked up in salary for the upcoming season, according to Basketball Reference, with 89% of it going to four players: Chris Paul at a whopping $38.5 million, Harden at $37.8 million, Clint Capella at $16.5 million, and Eric Gordon at $14.1 million. You add in PJ Tucker's salary, and the Rockets have $115,169,773 in salary. It goes on to show how the Rockets' window of opportunity is closing. Harden turns 30 this year, and Paul is 34. I can understand why the Rockets would want to do this. I remember reading how I think it was the Rockets owner was courtside during that Game 6 loss to the Golden State Warriors at home when the Warriors were uh, very undermanned, without, of course, DeMarcus Cousins, uh, without Kevin Durant, and somehow they still lost that game. And I remember reading how the owner was so furious that he left before the final buzzer, stormed out the court. So, you know, I think that the Houston Rockets owner is adamant. It's not just lip service. He's adamant about bringing a title to Clutch City, which has become more like Choke City over the past several seasons. Um, I know one thing: this team, this style of play, and this coach is not what it's going to take to win a championship. Mike D'Antoni underperformed in the playoffs with the Phoenix Suns. He stunk it up with the Knicks. He stunk it up with the Lakers. And while the Rockets have been entertaining at times during the regular season, they have underachieved in the playoffs. Pure and simple. Mike D'Antoni's style of basketball does not work in the playoffs. He constantly gets outcoached in series. It's not going to work. James Harden's style of basketball does not work. To be honest with you, even though it's unlikely to happen, I think they need to deal James Harden who won a championship. James Harden as your marquee guy playing the way that he plays, it's not going to work. In this situation, even though Chris Paul underperforms in the playoffs, although I thought he played well in Game 6, um, he's right. Whenever the Houston Rockets move the ball, they look like a different team. They look better. With James Harden, they're too fucking predictable. You might can beat the New York Knicks of the world and pour in 61 points or have a 60-point triple double against the Memphis Grizzlies or, you know, the up and down Sacramento Kings, you might have a 40-point game. You might go off against the lower cellar dweller teams in the NBA. But once you get in the playoffs, especially once you get past the first round and you're playing the upper echelon teams, James Harden gets exposed every year. It doesn't work with this guy. Like I said, I think I read what did I see that? I think it was Ticket TV. Shout out to Ticket TV too. You're not subscribed to Ticket TV, please subscribe to him. I thought I remember seeing that the Rockets have Clinton Capella reportedly on the trading block. Okay, that's good because Clinton Capella talked all that shit. You know what I'm saying? He talked all that shit about how much he was looking forward to play the Golden State Warriors, and he did next to nothing in that fucking series. You know what I'm saying? Um, Look, I like Chris Paul. I do. I've always liked him since he came into the NBA. I thought when he was in his prime, they did a little bit too much praising him, saying he was possibly going to be the greatest little man ever and all this shit. That's why I'm so. Um, that's why I get so frustrated when I hear hyperbole from the media about a player. He's the next this, the next that. Just let the guy do something. But look, Chris Paul, he's getting older. He's 34 years old. You have to pay him almost $40 million. More than anything, with the odds with Chris Paul, his level play is probably going to be a tick lower than what it was this year. You never know. I remember Sam I Am had that breakthrough year one year. I think Sam I Am was 36, 37 years old, and he had been showing signs that he was declining. I think he was with the Clippers. And all of a sudden, Sam Cassell had like this all-star level year. Like he put up like 20 points or something like that, 7 assists, shot the ball well. But so you never know. But the odds are that Chris Paul is going to have a year statistically further down from what he did this year, and there's always that injury threat with him. So I mean, these other guys, PJ Tucker played very well, but it's a business. Eric Gordon, they're going to have to make some moves. If they could land somebody like a LeBron James, that would be, remarkable. You know what I'm saying? Um, but they would have to construct a team not only with stars, but a team that's compatible with one another. And they also need to get rid of coach straight up. They got to get rid of this head coach, man. But I agree with Chris Paul about the ball movement thing. I can't remember what year it was, man, but I think it was with the Detroit Pistons. And I'm trying to remember what season it was. I I think it was when Adrian Dantley was there. Well, I know it was when Adrian Dantley was there, but I'm trying to remember what year it was because it was a an amazing statistic that shows how ISO can really hurt a team overall. Um, okay. Um, I think it was the 88-89 season, right? And in the 88-89 season, I think what it was is the games that Adrian Dantley played that year before he was traded, right? In the games that he played before he was traded, the Rockets were, the Pistons were like 25-16. No, 26-15 or 26-16. I think they're 26-16. They were 26-16 in the games that he played. Not bad, but once they moved him to Dallas and acquired Mark Aguirre, Zeke's best friend, all right, the rest of the season they went something like, um, what was their record? 37 and I think 3. They went 37-3 the rest of the season. They went from 26-15, which is a good record, not blockbuster, gangbusters, but it was 26-15 when they had the ball dominant ISO uh, uh, Adrian Dantley. But when they moved him and got Mark Aguirre, who doesn't demand the ball as much, they went 37-3. So yeah, when you look at the history of the NBA, generally speaking, when you have an offense dominated by an ISO heavy ball, ball dominant guy, you suffer. That's why with LeBron James, even though he dominates the ball a lot, he has a point guard eye, and they surround him with shooters. That's why the Lakers, it doesn't work. He doesn't have the pieces that he needs. All right. Yeah, Kobe was ball dominant, but Kobe Bryant was also surrounded by a lot of talent. And Kobe kind of more adjusted as he won championships and figured out how to win. He kind of saved the ISO, hero ball more for when the team needed it, and especially in crunch time. So it worked. But James Harden, he's not Kobe Bryant. His offense is limited. I already have rehashed this shit time and time again with this guy, man. But yeah, I think the Rockets need to make some moves, man. And this is going to be a very interesting, very, very interesting offseason. Um, Maybe even one for the record books. And I could see me, I, I can see me really having fun making videos next month. This is going to be fun. Tell me what you got.